how does nutrition affect our sleep?
So there's so many things about nutrition that can impact our sleep and about our sleep that could impact our nutrition choices as well. So it's really a two-way street. So you first of all, you really want to make sure that you're having a really nutrient dense, whole food, balanced diet, that you're getting all of your micronutrients and because your micronutrients like magnesium, vitamin D, um, there's so many different nutrients that really help with your overall health, but also with your neurotransmitters, your hormones, everything else. So making sure you're having a nutrient dense diet is super important. You want to also be making sure you're balancing those macronutrients and getting, a good balance of quality proteins to get all of your amino acids, which are also going to impact your hormones and your neurotransmitters. So quality protein, healthy fats are really important as well. And really thinking about staying away as much as possible from processed foods because processed foods, first of all, they lack the nutrients and even the nutrients that they put back in are synthetic and sometimes our body does not absorb them because it doesn't recognize them. And there's all types of, additives that could cause inflammation in our bodies, that could cause food sensitivities, which cause stress and inflammation in our bodies as well. So, really thinking through, that balance, as I said before, you can't really separate sleep from movement, from nutrition, from stress management. It's all, it all plays together. Another area that nutrition comes in that's super important is in blood sugar management. Because if your blood sugar is out of whack, that's really going to impact your sleep. It's going to cause drops in your blood sugar that will lead to a stress response in your body. You're going to have cortisol flowing through your body, which is really the antithesis of melatonin, which is the hormone that you want for bed. And also, if you have bad sleep, it messes with your blood sugar as well, and you're more apt to have insulin resistance and cravings and all kinds of things like that. So
So it works in a loop.
it does. It really, really does.
Man. So how are you able to determine your own cause of insomnia? How are you able to help yourself navigate through it?
So the first thing I really worked on was just the foundations of good sleep, having a regular bedtime, trying to train my body clock, my circadian rhythm to wind down at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning, even on weekends until you get your body used to that. Having a wind down routine to really reduce that stress, making sure my sleep environment was optimized. So, you want a dark environment, the room temperature should be lowered because again, you want your body temperature to be lowered at night. So, 65, 68 degrees is usually a good temperature. And then just as we were talking about those day-to-day habits is really tracking your sleep and then tracking those habits against that. So in my book, I have people that read it, and when I work with clients, it's like tracking your sleep quality. Are you having trouble falling asleep? Are you waking in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep? And then really looking at your day and say, when am I eating? When am I finishing my coffee? When am I having that glass of wine that's going to wake me up in the middle of the night, even though it makes me drowsy at first? Exercise timing, all of that. And I was really able to start connecting the dots and realizing like when I had to put like, curfews on these activities. For instance, I used to really think relaxing with a glass of wine before bed, was a good thing. You hear like red wine, is super healthy for you. And at the same time, dark chocolate's really healthy for you. So here I am drinking red wine and eating dark chocolate. So I'm filling myself with sugar, caffeine, and then alcohol, which is going to have a rebound effect in the middle of the night and just pop me out of bed. So I had to really look into adjusting that. And then the stress was huge, really experimenting with all of the different strategies for managing stress and getting into that more relaxed state, and trying to keep my mind from incessant thinking and relentless mind chatter. There's nothing worse than you wake in the middle of the night and then you just can't shut your brain off, right? And it happens to the best of us. So really working on those strategies. So it was a really, there wasn't like one thing. It wasn't like, oh, this is the thing. I did find that, sometimes I would forget to take my supplements in the morning, and I would take it with dinner because I'd say, oh, I'm going to eat this, I should take these with food. But then those are keeping me up. This, B vitamins cause energy, keeping you awake. Vitamin D. Vitamin D, if you have a vitamin D deficiency, that could be a problem for sleep, but it also is known to cause insomnia. So you don't want to take your vitamin D too late. Multivitamins have all kinds of like little mystery, ingredients in there as well. So I had to really experiment with all of those things too.
For every individual too, there's so many factors that can play into it.
Yeah, it really is. It's, spending time just doing what you do and noticing. So you might notice, wow, a couple of days this week, I met a friend for coffee, at like 2 o'clock. And then I had really bad sleep that night. Maybe I really have to start thinking about having decaf or an herbal tea, during those meetings. You know, oh, I noticed that, every Saturday I wake up, with brain fog and everything else. Oh, yeah, I went to happy hour last night, and had a couple glasses of wine, and that impacted it. So, as you said, it's really bio individual, and you have to track it all for a while to start really being able to connect those dots. And then, when you have a suspicion that it's one of those things and you change the timing of it or you replace it with something else, and then you could monitor if your sleep's improved from there.
So, how does that work with your clients? It's all about trial and error. So, you'd analyze it based on their schedules, what they eat, the supplements they take, and at what time they take it.
Yeah. So all of my clients, and I have this in the book as well, is a baseline sleep assessment. So you take a sleep assessment and it has a bunch of questions on there about your sleep quality, your sleep habits. And then I have a consultation with them to really get a good understanding because I want to meet them where they're at. So if they tell me, on a regular sleep schedule, I'm doing all the things, the wind down routine and all that, then we'll dig into, okay, let's track everything you're doing and meet once a week and troubleshoot and come up with some, different strategies to address that. If they tell me, I have no sleep schedule, I work, from my bed at night, I scroll, on Instagram, until midnight, then we start looking at like the real obvious things that we're like, okay, let's think about starting new habits, which is hard, right? I mean, if you're in the habit of something, especially if it's something you enjoy doing, or you're like, well, I have to, work at night because this is the only time I have because I have all these other things going on. So really trying to come up with the strategies to help them make it a lifestyle that's not going to cause extra stress and anxiety in their life with having to make so many changes.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app available on iOS and Android today.